Well, hello and welcome to the First Alert Weather Podcast. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mark Nelson here at KPTV. Well, actually, I'm here at home because it's 11 a.m. And that means if we're doing a morning podcast, it's not Camilla, it's not Peyton. We got Katie. How you doing, Katie? Katie Zuniga.
Excited to be sitting still for a couple minutes this morning.
Why? Has it been busy?
Oh, I don't know. Just a little busy.
Just so you know, we're recording this on December 17th. It's a Wednesday morning. It's our big toy drive day. So I'm sure that was part of the excitement. And then apparently something else happened during the night. I know because I was up till 2 a.m.
Oh, man, it woke me up. I mean, I go to bed very early. And so when most people are probably having their dinner, I'm in bed. And it woke me up right around 1 o'clock. So that wind was something else.
That was something else. We're going to cover that first. So we actually made a lot of these graphics last night. And
I updated some of them as best I could this morning in the rush of everything. So
no, what I was going to say is, so Katie, and then Katie finishes up, cleans up any messes we made. Or if something were to suddenly happen during the night, we added those in. Yeah. So here's what we're going to cover through this episode. Rain, wind. The wind was last night. The rain has been ongoing. We'll talk about the December heat so far. Okay. It finally snowed in the Cascades. We have a bunch more coming, which is good news. We also have a first alert day for Thursday because we expect some flooding, I think, especially south of Portland. Okay. Especially south here. We're going to cover what's ahead as we go into Christmas week. The holiday's right around the corner. Could we get a white Christmas? Most of the time, you know the answer around here. Okay. Viewer photos, got a few of those as well. So let's just jump right into it. Did I hit the button right? Here we go. There we go.
There you go.
So Katie, you put in a bunch of these photos. I mean, we could just pull photos. Now, I got to tell you, it's weird because like where I live, I must be a little protected from the west wind because my wind was not that strong. But in many areas, it was quite strong.
Yeah, right? I only grabbed a couple. There were a countless number of images that we got sent in to their viewer photos. And I grabbed, a couple that I thought were very telling of what some people right here, Dayton, a tree down. And that's just one of several that we reported on this morning, these trees that came down. But as we'll talk about, like the wind gusts, I think any other day,
there we go.
We would not have really, 50s and 60s along the coast. That's,
right.
That's good.
Portland, Portland hit 55. Okay.
Yeah.
But if we look at most of the metro area, actually, let's just jump ahead to the next graphic. The top of the Fremont Bridge, 55. Okay, that's up there. Interstate Bridge, 47. Glen Jackson Bridge, 42. Top of the Chehala Mountains, 56. Oregon City, 45. These are not crazy wind gusts. But here's the problem. We'll come back to some of those other speeds. And I just put this on Facebook. It was a west wind. Okay. And it was a sudden surge of west wind, which is pretty well forecast by the models. It's amazing. Our graph model for 2 days showed a sudden change to westerly and maybe gusts 40, 45. It wasn't that far off.
Nope.
All right. Big problem, saturated soil. So I think it was those two things. West wind. There was a case I had to look back. I remember one other brief west wind in March once where we had gusts of 49 and a bunch of power outages. That one was a surprise, I recall. That was in 2017. So that was 8 years ago. So we have not had a west wind event like this in quite a few years. Soil was saturated. And so that's why we have so many outages. If you get a chance, can you look up there? I've got like 3 windows open running this, Katie, but do you have the PGE power outage site? I'm curious. Somebody said it peaked at like 90 or 120,000, something like that. But anyway, so we got those two. And the other is kind of the thing in the background here is Portland hasn't had a real windstorm. I mean, like widespread gusts, 55 to 70. It's been many, many years since we've seen that. We've seen there was a gust of 67 during a storm around 2015, 2016. But with that one, it was kind of localized in the middle of town. So again, weather models forecast this. They were amazing with the timing, the wind direction, peak speeds. I mean, it was maybe peak speeds were a little low, but it wasn't that far off. But I think it's all about the westerly direction. I think that caused the most damage. And the speeds were unusually high. Here, let's go back. Here in the Hoodland corridor, rhododendron. This is a sensor that's kind of just right, not far from Highway 26 in the valley, gust of 59. Lolo Pass Road, down not on a mountaintop, 56 mile per hour gust. So these westerly gusts push right into areas that typically don't get strong winds. So there must be a lot of damage out there.
It's taking a little while to load.
PG. Yeah, I noticed that. It's almost like a lot of people are accessing it right now. That's what I was thinking.
We are at
what do you have?
30,000 right now.
Oh, so it came way down. That's good.
Yeah. And
What
then
I've noticed, it always comes down quickly, but then it slows down as they get to all the smaller outages, where
yeah.
there's like 10 neighbors that are out of power.
Yeah.
Well, you look at that. Timberline Lodge, this was a shocker for me. Timberline Lodge, there's a wind sensor there at the top of the Poochie lift. It's a little bit in the trees, and I've noticed it doesn't often go much above 40, 75.
Mm-hmm.
And the top of the Cascade lift at Meadows, 103. Both of those power outage happened about 1 a.m., right as the strongest winds hit. So it may have been stronger. We don't know. And then the top of the Magic Mile, we've talked about this on air and also on Facebook recently, because it's been so warm, that sensor is not encased in ice. Most winter storms, I think this happens actually quite a bit, but we just don't see it because it's encased in ice. But it had a gust of 138. I did see a gust floating around from Coldwater Ridge. I think I saw it AccuWeather, 142. That's at the Coldwater Ridge site on Mount St. Helens. That sensor has a problem. It always reads way too high. So if you see a 142 at Coldwater Ridge, it's wrong.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the metro. Yeah, so these speeds are high, but they're not extreme. If we would have had these speeds in a southerly direction, we probably would have had 30,000 outages total. But I think it was all about the westerly wind direction.
Yeah.
Are there any others? Yeah, these are correct. Vancouver 41 at Pearson Air Park, 43 at Troutdale, and those sensors kept working. So yeah, again, not extreme. Coastline was not extreme. The Baker City, I think, is incorrect. We just have one problem with this graphic. Oh, and somebody emailed or on Facebook asked me about Salem. Salem also went offline. The power, since this was almost like a squall line, almost it hit very quickly. A bunch of weather stations, the strong wind hit. There was a gust, and then didn't record any more gusts. And as far as I'm aware, those ASOS stations, that's the automated surface observing systems at airports like Salem and Portland. If the power goes out, they don't get the peak gust till later, and you don't see it online. So Salem, we don't know. I think it was like 41 or something before the power went out. So we don't know, actually, as far as I'm aware, what the peak gust at Salem was.
Well, and I looked at areas around because it wasn't available to kind of see, and it was in the 40s around the airport area. So
around Salem.
Yeah.
You're right. I did see one on there was an ODOT sensor like on the hill east of there past the prison. Right?
Yes, exactly.
Correctional institution. Sorry.
So we know it was at least, somewhere around in that area.
And I saw out that wildlife refuge on Highway 22 west of Salem. As you head out towards Sheridan, I stayed up till 2 a.m. I never do that, Katie. I'm not a night owl. And I'm like, I'm staying up till this thing hits because it was so clear cut it was going to hit. Yep. So I sat there and somehow I never lost power. It briefly blinked and that was it. But I think I saw 53 out there in the flatlands west of Salem. So there were some gusts 50, 55. And coming from the west, that causes a lot of damage. Whew. Yeah. All right. So we covered that. I guess we can just talk about each of these.
Yeah.
So warm.
Oh, my goodness.
Did
you see the extra graphics that I added in? Did you see those?
Oh, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
I won't spoil them for you.
Yeah. So, this kind of tells a story that the red is where we typically would be in Portland. The blue is for the high. The blue is where we would typically be for the low. This is through yesterday. And look how much of the time we haven't even made it down close to or only down to our typical high for a low. 1, 2, 3. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Last 11 days, we've been way out of whack.
Yes.
There you go. Okay.
So this is one of the ones I added that shows the December the 1st through the 16th through yesterday, where, it was cool the first 4 days, and then it was above and way above average. The normal for the month, both day and night, is 8.5, almost 8.75 of a degree above average for the month. But I also put in, I did a little later, just the lows. There it is right there.
There it is.
Just the lows. And you see the ones that I highlighted with the yellow?
Wow.
Those are all records. We broke 6 warm, low morning records this month. The 6th, the 7th, the 10th, the 11th, the 15th, and the 16th. So
look at that anomaly.
10 degrees above average for just the lows from normal.
And I think somebody pointed out on the local Facebook group, it's not on here, but today it was around 59 at midnight before the cold front came through. And these records are calendar day. So I believe today may be a record as well for a high.
Oh.
Yeah. Because if we were 59 at midnight.
Yeah. And actually, Drew and I had that conversation yesterday because he's like, oh my gosh, we broke a morning low record. I'm like, wait, There's cold
Wait
air
till
coming
midnight.
tonight. If it comes before
Yeah.
midnight, that won't work. I go, that's got me right when I first started here. That one bit me in the butt. So I go, we have to wait till tomorrow, because what if that cold air gets here before midnight?
Yeah. In fact, we almost had 5 days at or above 60, I suppose, if we were close to 60 at midnight. But so we had 4 days at or above 60 degrees in the month of December. We've only done that one other time during a flood in 1980. There was a Christmas Eve, Christmas Day flood in 1980, south wind. And I believe that's the only time we've had the temperature stay at or above 60 for the entire calendar day, Christmas Day, 1980. Yeah. And of course, I remember that. Yeah, it was driving up to Portland to Uncle's house and coming back, and there was water all over the place.
Okay, so I'm looking here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what do you have?
Before 12 o'clock, let's see, 58.
Yeah, what was?
59. Oh, it was 58. I'm just looking at the 3-day history on NWS, just a quick one. So the highest I see before midnight is 58. It hit 59 at 12:05, 12:10, all the way until it was in the upper 50s, all the way
till the front hit.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So 59 may have been the high today. Yeah,
possibly for yesterday. You mean?
Oh, you mean, I thought you meant today after midnight.
After midnight, yeah.
This morning.
After midnight, yeah. It got to
12:05. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we probably had 59. We'll see.
Yep.
Can I close this? Okay, you're still there, right?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, good. Because I should get a double screen. I should get one of those wide screens, so during a podcast I could have one over here and one there. So warmest first half of December. I say since 1940. That's when the airport weather record started. I've got it over there on the right side. This is just December 1st through 15th at PDX. And yeah, up until now, I've been saying there's not a good trend for December. That's the 1 month in the winter that has not warmed. Not like the summer months that have warmed dramatically. But you can see this is December 1st through 15th. So we've had some warmer first halves of December lately, although that hasn't necessarily been a trend. We'll see if it becomes a trend. We never know until, we look back. But yeah, 2023, just 2 years ago, was extremely warm as well. And here's the 20-inch club, folks. Woo, this is rainfall through yesterday so far this month. And yeah, you can see why we had some flooding earlier in the month and why soils are saturated, right? Yeah. 21 inches. This is, I think, actually, I don't know exactly what these stations are. I think they're a little bit off. This might be the North Fork station. It doesn't matter. But yeah, and you can see why they had so much more flooding up north too. 25 inch totals up there. Yeah. With that atmospheric river last week. As for rain, wet.
So I put this in because we have surpassed, and I counted. So
we did.
Right now on Wednesday, today, this particular graphic doesn't show the rain for the day. We had like 900 of an inch this morning or something.
Okay.
So I added that in to show. So that was like 9 or 10 o'clock this morning. So with what we've had today so far and this month, we surpassed the monthly total.
So we did. Okay. Yep. Wow. Still have quite a bit to go. Maybe it'll just stop raining suddenly.
Because tomorrow.
Seems unlikely.
We're going to remember this month for being wet and windy.
And warm.
And warm. Yeah. Wet, windy, and warm.
December 2015, yeah, we had an extremely wet. Although we had 15 inches of rain that month. I hope that's not happening. We had a lot of mudslides. So, okay, snowed in the Cascades, not as much as we would like. Okay, so Katie, you put these in.
This is the only graphic image that I could get this morning up on Timberline that would work.
Massive power outages up there, I suppose. No, massive. I mean,
I think if I remember right, a tree went down or a tree hit a line and line went down and we're out of power. So
when I mountain bike up there in the summer, you can see it's just kind of like one line going up through the woods there. Yeah. So it's pretty easy for something to fall into it.
So I got this one. We had
not much, just a few inches.
And then this is the only past county that worked. Again, this was 8 a.m. You could see it was snowing pretty good at Santiam Pass. So.
Look at the temperature though at Timberline, 22. Wasn't it? It was like 45 yesterday. That was a sharp cold front. Yeah, pretty cool. We showed you this last week just to emphasize on the 15th, which was halfway through the month, all the way until early this morning. There was no snow on the ground at the bottom of Poochie Lift. That had not occurred since that sensor it was put in back in about 1980. So this was a very unusual event to not have any snow on the ground. Usually there's a little bit like what you see here. That has happened a few times in mid-December, but to have nothing. Yeah, very unusual. Snow totals, we're going to have an issue with getting those because...
Yeah, and that's what I said this morning was, at least I'm starting to get numbers from Timberline.
Yeah.
They're reporting, but don't be expecting to get good totals from up there.
And this is, we know what it looked like last night. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
What is this?
So they're at 3 inches now.
Timberline is okay.
Yep. They're at 3.
And just a skiff down at government camp, looks like. So I made this graphic yesterday. Wow, Katie, it sure is easier now. I'm going to do all my future graphics based on this, where you have the lines are just barely, this is TV talk, folks, TV graphics talk. Lines are just visible enough that we can easily like line things up, instead of guessing. I hate doing that. And then the other thing is the vertical grouping works really well, where you just, as you move the bar, then the number moves up and down with it.
Yes, I saw that. That's so great.
Every graphic is going to be like that.
I take a piece of paper when I'm trying to put those lines on. Like if it was,
do you line it up on the screen?
I take it like it was like when we hit 62 and the next closest one was 62. I was like, oh, I need to make sure they're the exact same. So I took a piece of paper, put it up on the screen, and pulled it up so they matched.
Actually, I think I have done that in the past, so I'm not judging. So just looking back, government camp snowfall. This is December total. We had a big year in 2021. Some years you get a lot, some not much. It remains to be seen what's coming up here. Okay. Yep. So that's the snow. Okay, so we have an atmospheric river. I like to only use that term when it really is. Technically you could have a level 1 atmospheric river every time a cold front comes through. But I like to stick to, when we have something that's really going to impact people. And we do see some flooding. And in fact, I see some flood warnings are up. I'm going to check those for just while you were talking. Maybe you could talk about this, Kate.
I looked at what graphics you pulled last night and I re-pulled them this morning. So from what you had last night, this particular graphic by Friday at 10 o'clock, it had 2.53 in Portland, and this morning it was at 2.09.
Right.
So it backed off just a little when I gave the forecast, I stopped it at the end of Thursday. And then went into, and it was only like a 1/10 or 2/10 of an inch got added to Portland. It was like 199 by the end of tomorrow, and then 209 by the end of Friday.
Because that system is going to slip to the south. So tomorrow's going to be a really wet day. Seems to peak in the afternoon or very early evening, then slips to the south, and it keeps raining all tomorrow evening and night down to the south. And that's why, Eugene, Albany. Yeah. Wow.
Maybe go to the next graphic. There's one that takes us through Saturday, I think.
I should just point out the Weather Service in the last hour did issue a flood warning. It looks like, I believe I'm trying to look on my phone. Clackamas River, Cowlitz, Wilson, Siletz, Lucky Mute is a little bit out of our viewing area. And I don't know what that other river is coming down into Corvallis. So luckily the Willamette reservoirs still have plenty of room. So that's good so we don't expect flooding on the main stem Willamette, but yeah, I think this is going to be a big issue. So we're calling it a first alert weather day for tomorrow. This was the Euro model from last night, unless you updated this.
I updated that.
Oh, you did?
Was this morning. Yep.
Similar.
Both of them were this morning.
Yeah, it kind of has it more evenly spread in the area.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh, yeah.
We had a flood warning that they started tonight through Friday night that we were showing this morning.
For what river?
Oh, it just was this all area. They just did an area.
Oh, that's when they just say, okay, urban type, or I mean, like water ponding around type flooding. Yeah.
I tried to do this as a moving graphic, but it did not like my movie that I made.
Yeah, so. They're pretty big files. Yeah. So atmospheric river.
I picked that spot because that's when it was the straightest and pointed most heavily right at us.
The most dramatic for TV news.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. 10 o'clock in the morning.
One thing that's slightly different, minor difference, but it does affect some folks. The orientation of this is a little more southwesterly instead of just straight west. So that does affect back here. If you look east of the Cascades, these numbers might be slightly high, but there could be an inch in the Highway 97 corridor, which is pretty wet for them. Remember last week, almost nothing fell at Madras, almost nothing fell at Maupin. So this is going to allow, if it's coming from the southwest, it allows a little bit of slops over the Cascades a little better. I mean, southerly would be perfect, or southeast, you'd get a ton of rain east side, but so a little more, if you can turn things a little more southwest instead of west or northwest, we can get some rain down into the desert there, which is good. And then, in fact, these are the, did I do this or you?
Oh. So it's the Euro and the GFS 24 hours. Yeah.
It's pretty solid to about 2 inches, 24 hours.
Yeah. Those are the newest.
Pretty good. Okay. Nice.
Yeah. Just because I like to use this one just so I can, especially for visual on air, just showing, this is between 11 and 2. It's not, and because I feel like when we show the accumulation one, when we show the graph maps and things like that, I don't think it's as good a visual as when I show
like
people, look,
when is it going to be heavy?
Exactly.
Right?
You can see between 2 and 5 o'clock, we get a half inch. That's a lot, right?
Yep.
So that's why I like this one, because it shows the breaks and then the heavy rain, in the 3-hour time period.
And it shows the cutoff nicely as well. Well, two things that I see there. One is first, tomorrow morning is just a light rain. Morning through midday, just light. It's really about late afternoon, evening commute, no fun with that heavier rain. And then it really cuts off after 8 p.m. if our graph is correct. Okay. And here's Salem.
Between Salem. So Salem's is
sticks around.
More, yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, it sticks around a little longer. Nice. Well played, Katie.
Thank you. And it's a little more.
Yeah, a little more, and it sticks around.
Into the evening, which I thought paired well with what we were saying about it'll be a little rainier to the south as it slips back down to the south in the evening. So
I used to have one of these in the old graphics version before we changed things back in April. I used to have one that was it was like in the middle of the gorge. It was like in a wet spot in the gorge, like Multnomah Falls, and boy, you'd see the big spikes, and that would work for the west slopes of the Cascades too. But you'd see the huge spikes show up nicely.
We should get that going again.
Yeah, we should. So many things to do. I've got a whole list. Have you seen that dumb little Post-it note that's been sitting there for a week? I should get rid of it, but I keep meaning to do it. I want that snow, when we're approaching a weather event, like what we do and don't expect for a snow event, but we keep getting busy with other weather things. Yeah. We're busy folks. All right. So what's ahead? What do we see ahead? Oh, we got a moving 500 millibar height from the Euro. And this covers, let's see, it looks like, don't tell me, now through next Monday. So trough's moving through. I noticed it flows just a little. We're getting a little lower heights, which gives us a little lower snow levels.
Yes.
A little below average heights. The blues are a little below average. What else do I see? Most of the country. Oh, look at that near the end. The country turns very mild early next week.
Yes. So
right there. We can't really stop it. And we cannot stop it, right? No.
And if you go to the next one, it's the GFS. It goes a little farther out.
Oh, okay. So this is going to take us, I'm following the hours. Here we go. Tuesday, Wednesday, Christmas, Merry Christmas right there. And then the Boxing Day and the Saturday after. Okay, let's still go through it.
Well, it's pretty much the same. I didn't see much of a difference.
Yeah. A lot of troughing along the West Coast. And it seems to want to be a little farther west, maybe. This is kind of a stormy pattern for us still. Systems develop in the trough and swing up towards us. What I noticed it isn't. It is not an Arctic air pattern for us by any means. We would want that. See that big upper level ridge up here? If you want Arctic air into the northwest, you need that here so that these troughs are forced down here instead. We're getting troughs going out here.
Almost straight down instead of off to our west, kind of almost down.
Yeah. So when you see these blue anomalies, these upper level heights that are below average, when they're out here, that's cool and wet for us. Actually, if they're any farther west, that's warm and wet for us. But if they're out here, it's cool and wet. If they're coming down here, didn't we see that in November a few times? Last winter, we saw it a bunch of times where they come down like this. That's cold and dry. So
yeah, we don't. Those of you that are listening, when he says the first out here, it's farther to the west, and then as he's talking, he's moving it to the east.
Yeah, right. Okay, so then for the this is the Euro. This is my last night's, because it wasn't quite time for the new one. It's probably out by now, but I'm sure it looks similar. I think my point on this: the next 2 weekends, you see the weekend before Christmas highlighted, the weekend after Christmas highlighted. It's wet. We just don't know if there could be brief 1 or 2 day breaks. But boy, I mean, most model ensemble members are wet. Yeah. There's just brief breaks. There's no more than a 2 day break in any of these, I don't believe. And you can see the one peak here. Usually as we approach an event, we'll see, these a peak might start to rise a bit as there's more agreement as we get closer to something. So it's just something to keep an eye on. And we look for the spikes, the whiskers on the box and whiskers, like the kind of the high end outliers here. That's interesting. There's something, hints of something right after Christmas. Could there be some sort of atmospheric river event in here? Maybe. It's way out there, 10 days.
Hell yeah.
Something to watch. Yep. And these are from last night still, or you didn't update these, right? You didn't need to.
Not.
Yeah. Let's give the general. We all know what's happening. Yep. But this is the ensemble average from the GFS, the ensemble average from the Euro, total rainfall through the end of the year. So this goes out 10, 12, 13 days, 14 days, I guess 14 days. And they're both similar. Very wet, wettest in the mountains. You can see the effect of higher terrain resolution in the Euro. Higher terrain and higher model resolution, but they both show the same general thing here. It's going to be really wet. Could we have 7 inches between now and the end of the year? That's possible. Spread out over 2 weeks. Would that only be 3 inches a week? Quarter inch a day?
We got 5.75 inches in the first 15, 16 days.
So, yeah, so that could happen.
Yeah.
It's going to be a wet month.
Yep.
And back to normal temperature-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, tomorrow's going to be a warm day again with the south wind and the atmospheric river. But then, in general, I'd say highs they might be slightly above average if these are a little low. More or less pretty typical stuff here. Mm-hmm. Just wet, just not the big warm pineapple expresses. There could still be one in there. Oh, yeah, look, there is a slight hint upward with that heavier precip, possibly the weekend after Christmas. Something to watch. What I don't see is, I look at the 850 millibar temps up around 4,000 or 5,000 feet. Do we have any -7s and -10s in here? Wow, almost none of all those ensemble members. I mean, nobody has a -10. There's no Arctic blast showing up on any ensemble member through the end of the year. But there are a few highs. The dash line is, let's say, mountain snow level. I'm sorry, I didn't say that right. That would be like Cascade passes. If it's 0, it's going to be 0 to 850 millibars. That means it's going to be about freezing at the passes. Green is the model average. Blue is the control control run. So more of the time now, it's going to be at or below the passes, at least through Christmas and the day after.
It warms up again.
Boxing. Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't notice that. When I put these together last night, I was slamming this together, getting my show done at the same time. I wasn't looking at the details, but this is why we can relax and peruse this data. But yeah, through Boxing Day, remember Stephen, we used to work with, the director. He was Canadian. He's like, oh, Boxing Day, the day after Christmas. So this was, they say, through Boxing Day, most of the time, the average is at or below the passes. I mean, minus the spike on Thursday. Pretty good. So we should accumulate snow. Yeah, so we should accumulate some decent snow up in the Cascades. I thought I killed teams, and I'm still getting at all this stuff from the newsroom. Leave me alone. Okay, so so tomorrow we think 1 to 2 inches in the metro. I think if we only got an inch, it's not a big deal. If we get 2 inches, then we have some problems in the afternoon and evening.
Well,
a lot of water.
Everything has still been showing this morning. All the models that I looked at all still showed up to 2 inches. So
yeah,
it didn't back off much.
Looks similar. Yeah, great. Actually, excellent agreement with the models.
Yes.
And then we don't see any really organized system. This thing seems a little more organized on Sunday. Surface low maybe, but I don't see any deep lows for strong wind. Nope. Boy, it sure is interesting when we look back at this little wind event. There was no deep area of low pressure to give us that strong wind. It was all about a funny, weird westerly gust right behind a cold front. Yeah. Right? There was nothing on the maps. When you look at the maps from yesterday, it was just, there was gradient tightened a little bit and it wasn't a big deal. It's amazing. You don't need a big deep low moving up the coast to give us a damaging wind, especially if it's westerly. So I like to use this graphic. I use this often in our First Alert Weather Extra, our TV weather show on streaming, Fire, Roku, at 7 p.m. weekdays. What's likely between now and Christmas Day? Actually, now this would go through the 26th. No lowland snow, no Arctic blast. Could we have something that gives us 1,000-foot snow? I mean, if one of these is correct here, you might get snow. Like I live at 1,000 feet. In a cooler pattern, I might somehow pick up snow one morning, an inch or something. But I don't really see that. So no. Windstorm, yep, we can still get gusts 30 to 40 from the south, but we don't see an actual windstorm coming up. And flooding, yes, we can get flooding in spots. Clearly, that's going to be happening. All right, I had you seen this one, Katie? Did you wonder what this was about?
Yes, I did wonder what that was about. I looked at it and I thought,
because you keep seeing when you look at, I bet if you look at the Euro right now, I don't know if it's still there. If you were to look at the Mediagram, and then you see little light snow. For days, it's been showing a little bit on Saturday and a little bit, I believe, on Monday or Tuesday. I'm like, what? I already kind of knew what was going on because this happened last winter too. Something changed in the way, not that there's anything wrong with the model, but maybe their thresholding for when to accumulate snow is higher. Mm-hmm. Watch out for this stuff. This is Saturday. Oh, this is for Monday. Oh, it's right here. I thought I had chosen Saturday. I chose Monday, this coming Monday. Mm-hmm. The model's been producing sticking snow at 38 to 40 degrees. So notice this is 6-hour snow total ending Monday at 1 p.m. Like, wow, there could be a dusting of snow across parts of the South Metro, right? Okay. Same time, the lowest temperature during that period.
40.
Yeah, maybe in those hills, it's kind of seeing those hills like Chehala Mountain and like Westland there, maybe a slightly higher. But the point is that is not going to produce sticking snow. No. And I looked, it's just scattered showers. All right. So then, so my point is, ignore that stuff, folks. You need to look at the other data like we've always done before we had maps like this. What was that?
I was just looking to see what level this 925.
Yeah. So this is at 925 millibars. That's about 2,700 feet. Notice it's +2, which is 36 degrees. So if it's 36 degrees over 2,000 feet, the snow level is likely really up around 3,000 feet that day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you'd see snowflakes in the air at 2,700, I'm sure, at 36 degrees. But the point is, it's not going to snow. Okay. This is assuming, you have onshore flow and you don't have some cold wind coming in from the east. So watch out for this stuff. Did you put this in, Katie?
I did.
Oh, good. Oh, good. So this is for, Saturday. Look.
See?
In fact, the operational run of the Euro is producing an inch of snow. That's a control run. That's the bottom.
But when I saw that, I was like, I think that this might be where he's going with it. So I grabbed this ensemble for you, the 20. I was like, look at that.
And the problem will be when we get a marginal situation coming up, like we're going to have a cool and showery week where it's like, snow levels at 1,000 feet. All these are going to add up. And you'll see a total snow graphic. Somebody will put out a total snow graphic and show like, wow, 5 inches of snow in the next week. And it's all these half-inch totals that don't really exist.
Yeah.
So I hate those snow maps. We didn't even have those snow maps really till, I don't know, about 10 years ago or so. Not much, 10 or 15 years ago. So we don't see a setup for a white Christmas west of the Cascades. The chance is always low. We've had 1 inch on the ground 3 times in the last 100 years in 2017. That's one a lot of people will remember. It snowed Christmas Eve, 1 inch. It was beautiful. And that we'd expected freezing rain. Instead, it was just thick enough cold air. It was snow. And then it changed to freezing rain, I think around 10 or 11 at night. It must have been by 10 p.m. because that's the night I remember going home. It was solid ice on the Banfield Freeway. And a guy just flew by me in a Prius, like taxi cab. He must have been going 80 in a 2-wheel drive Prius. Those guys are tough. Okay. And then 2008, a lot of us remember that was huge snow up and down. We'd had a storm a few days before, so there was tons of snow on the ground. And then in 1937, there was snow as well.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember 1937 either. Hard to believe, folks. This is from the Weather Service. They have a nice little write-up on their page, and it just shows the chance of snow is pretty small. And the records there go back to 1940. In 1990, it was all frozen. If I recall correctly, it was all frozen in 1990. We were also in an Arctic. I drove through Portland when I was a kid. 1983, we were headed to the gorge. We were in the middle of a strong east windstorm, and it was like a freezing rain snow mix. So there have been times where it's frozen at Christmas. So it can happen. All right. And these are the downtown records. It's interesting because you go into the downtown records, there's not much. You would think it would have happened when it was colder and that we used to have more snow in the 1800s. Mm-hmm. But there aren't many other instances of snowy Christmas. It's just always tough in a climate like this to get snow on a specific date, on any specific day in the winter, and especially Christmas. All right. So we got some viewer photos. I think Peyton did these.
Yeah. Oh. That's a pretty one. I love that it looks full, like a full circle rainbow with the reflection. It's so pretty.
Yeah. And that would have been, actually, I was thinking this was on the Oregon side of the river. Is it? Or is it on the If it's on the Washington side, then it's late in the day. If it's on the Oregon side, it'd be early in the morning. Sure is calm. I love the reflection.
It is very calm.
Yeah. Thank you, Ron. We've got a flooded. Is that? I can't tell what kind. Oh, are those apple trees? Are those apples hanging on?
State Street in Salem.
Has something still hanging on the trees? Yeah.
Could be.
It could be. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for that. And lenticular clouds. Reza, thank you with a happy doggy. Great. It has been great hiking weather up until now. Now that it's cooled off, not so much. But I saw you know how you get all that AI slop on Facebook suggested groups, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I've got one is like Mount Hood hikers or something, and somebody did actually. I think hiked around most of the mountain like last weekend or a few days before that, which you could never do in December normally. Yeah. Or hiked around part of the mountain. So yeah, you could hike up a timberline. Not now because there's trees everywhere, but yeah, pretty neat stuff.
I was in Central Oregon last weekend, and Sunday before I came back, I was out on a walk, and you guys know I lived there for 6 years, so I'm used to December weather and it being, colder and stuff. I had on a light jacket, and when you stopped in the sun, it was warm. Isn't
that crazy?
It was. My husband and I were just like, this is not right. We're in the middle of December and we're literally warm and just wearing like a light fleece jacket while we're walking.
I felt that over the weekend. I felt that again. Was I at the store? I was pumping gas yesterday or the day before. And I'm like, this is unnatural. So now I see, I've been so busy. I didn't even look at the temperature. What is it outside?
It was chilly. It was in the 40s this
morning. Oh yeah. I got
finally.
42 here at home. And yesterday it was like 53. Yeah, PDX is sitting in the upper 40s.
Yeah.
So, sorry, that was my stomach. I guess I'm ready for some breakfast. I didn't eat breakfast. I got busy.
TMI, I haven't peed since 3 o'clock this morning. That's how busy I am.
Katie, you're dehydrated.
No, I've been running and doing it. Like, I haven't had time to stop. I've just been so busy with the toy drive and the windstorm and the first alert days and the Cascades snow, and it's just...
Oh, but I just got excited. We got a free coffee, like a little coffee bar is there until 3:30 p.m.
I got mine. The show, we did the end of Good Day Oregon where everybody did the big goodbye, and I ran over to the cart and got my chai latte and then ran in to get you.
Yes, good stuff.
Yes.
And today's Secret Santa Day. Did you participate this year?
I did. I got to go get my present. I would have left and forgot if you hadn't said that.
Yeah, I've got a 3-parter. I'll tell you about it later. I can't tell you about it because that person might know. Yeah. How about I just hit the stop button, we stop recording, then we talk about it. I don't have to wait.
Sounds good.
You know, let's just say goodbye. Are we good?
I think we're good.
We're not doing a podcast next week. It's possible on New Year's Day, Camilla and I, we're doing that evening shift, and it should be a little slower that day. We might do a podcast that evening. Depends on how inspired we are for the brand new year. Maybe we'll do a year wrap up, maybe the day after. So for sure, no podcast next week because, you know, we're short people next week. Everybody's got time off at different times. It's kind of a big mess schedule wise. So, but you know what? This engine needs to keep running down the track, weather wise and news wise. So there will still be newscasts, but we'll just be here. A little tight. Yeah, I'll be here part of that. I guess I'm only here Monday, but so I guess I can say Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday, whatever you celebrate. Great. That's wonderful. Yeah, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, all that. So have a good end of the year. We think we'll see you on our podcast back here. Just maybe the day, New Year's Day or the day after. So thanks again for joining, Katie. It's been fun. Hopefully no big storms. Fingers crossed. See you later, folks.